Hey guys, it's Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who Classic. Last time around we started The Seeds of Doom. What was that one about?
Well, apparently it is a riff on the old late 50s thing from outer space. Pod is found in some kind of plant pod is found in Antarctica, and when they take it in and it warms up, it literally sprouts and takes over the body of one of the guys who finds it, ultimately taking over several others as well. The Doctor and Sarah go down there trying to figure out what it is. The Doctor assumes it's from outer space or somehow figures it out. But the secondary plot is there's this guy in England who is literally obsessed with saving the world from animal life, particularly humans, and he's all about plants. So he finds out there's another one, so the other plant pod gets kidnapped, for lack of a better word, and taken back to England. And the Doctor and Sarah get chased and captured and escape, and chased and captured and escape, and chased and captured, and it just goes on and on and on. And I think that's where we left it.
Pretty much, yeah. Where we started off with a really interesting story with a very interesting set piece in Antarctica. We are now back in a building in England.
Merry old England.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. England is fine. It's just, you gotta get out a little bit more. Weirdly enough, I feel like the third Doctor branched out more, and he was stuck in England.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe it felt like we went to different parts of England, at least. Like, I feel like this is the fourth time this season that we've just been in some sort of, English
countryside, yeah.
Yeah, countryside building. So, I don't know. Maybe I just missed Unit, so it could just be that. So, but yeah, so we're on the final 3 parts of the Seeds of Doom today, and next week we will start Season 14, which will have The Deadly Assassin as a rewatch, and it'll also be the last rewatch until, like, Season 19. So, it'll be quite a while until then.
Is Season 19 when we get Kinda?
Yes.
Oh boy.
And Earthshock. But first Kinda.
Earthshock was really good.
Yeah.
Kinda was confusing.
You know, we always say that stories are better in context. We've appreciated our rewatches, you know? So maybe in context.
Maybe.
I don't know. It was such a strange story, you know? It's probably made by someone who was inhaling a couple plants himself, you know? So
it's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah. Anywho. Do you have anything else?
No. I think we're okay.
Then let's just go ahead and jump right back into the Seeds of Doom. Here we go.
I must know what happens when the crinoid touches human flesh.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man, you couldn't have done this like 3 episodes ago.
What do you do for an encore, Doctor?
I win.
Well, bye.
Guards! Somebody open this door!
Oh.
You can't tackle them single-handed.
Not, I've got a pistol.
But you'd never use it.
True. But they don't know that, do they?
Go for the kneecaps.
That was quick.
Yeah. I love the shrub pyramids this guy has.
I believe that's called a topiary.
And this time don't try anything.
You don't not anything!
Is this the 4th time they've been recaptured? Maybe 5th?
Yeah. Look, they gotta pad it to 6 episodes.
Turn around.
Oh man, why do you have so many trash cans in here?
Chase!
Now, the smart thing to do, Sarah, would be to go call the local constabulary.
Yeah. And then have them call the RAF.
Why'd you let her pass the main gate?
Sorry, sir. Miss Ducar insists on seeing you. Says you owe her money.
Lawyers? Man's a fool. Why am I surrounded by idiots?
Because you hired them.
I mean,
better
yeah.
Mr. Chase, and avoid any fuss.
Like certain politicians we know.
It might not.
Huh.
Have someone bring her up to the library.
I really didn't think the painter was going to come back.
Well, it did seem like an odd little cameo there.
750 guineas,
Guineas?
plus inflation. Shall we say, around 1,000?
Pounds?
Done.
I'll write you a check now.
There's a difference between a guinea and a pound. A pound is 20 shillings, if I recall correctly. A guinea is 21 shillings.
Yes, it is right.
This way, madam.
Goodbye.
Man, I hope she's from UNIT. She's just a ninja or something.
Either that or she's that Time Lord at the end of Planet of Spiders who changed his appearance.
Oh, maybe.
How's Keeler?
Dear Arnold, a brilliant researcher and a dedicated botanist, and now properly nurtured, he can be of inestimable value to science.
Nurtured. You don't mean to say you've been feeding him?
Wouldn't he be Dr. Keeler?
No.
Although, very famed botanist, that an English botanist who came here
Fascinating.
in Oklahoma in the 1820s
A mixture of
was
style.
not a doctor. He didn't have a doctor in botany.
This corridor must be early.
You were quite right, Sir Colin. The girl and the doctor have run into trouble.
And did Chase suspect anything?
I think not.
Oh, well, he's gone.
Feed me, Krellborn. Feed me now.
No.
Well, do we suspect Sir Colin will be the first?
Oh, yes, a sword.
Yikes!
Jeez. Alright, that's a bit different. Why does everybody always trip?
Oh, that's Dunbar. Not Colin.
Well, it's not a sword, that's a gun, isn't it? Oh, no, it is. Alrighty. Poor Keeler. Couldn't have been Scorby. It had to be Keeler. Oh, well. You know, I was kind of thinking they would cliffhang on the compost, but...
Yeah.
But no, that works out a lot better.
Now, oddly enough, I feel that the original humanoid form that Keeler was, with all the extra tentacles, is way more scary than this, gigantic, almost looks like a fuzzy okra.
Yeah, just a giant tree that moves. So, yeah.
The mind boggles.
Yeah. All right,
One of
so...
the greatest lines in all science fiction.
So, Miss Ducat is not part of UNIT, but she was sent in specifically by Sir Colin. So, there's at least that.
Yeah.
There's at least that. And they at least know if the dude's not back in half an hour, you go call UNIT, and hopefully they call the RAF. I don't know. I want the RAF to be useful someday, And it's never through their own fault. They just haven't been presented a story where they can do something.
Now, did the Brigadier bomb the base of the Silurians, or was that the RAF?
No, I think he did that. So,
because that would have been a perfect example of just showing a couple of planes flying over and then the explosions going off.
Yeah, so... Well, at the very least, since they got there, Dunbar might survive. So, and now the Doctor has a sword. So, that will be of use.
It slices and dices. I don't know if they had that commercial over in Great Britain, but it used to be I think it was called the Chop-O-Matic, where you put any vegetable in and it, sliced and diced it.
Oh, what if they use the composter to kill Keeler?
Could be. No, not the Chop-O-Matic, the Veg-O-Matic. I think the problem with the composter is that extraterrestrial organic matter would then be still spread all over the garden.
Yeah.
Now, this would have been more exciting if there'd been a tentacle or something that wrapped around his foot rather than just tripping.
Well, yeah, because you know what? If I'm gonna like trip and fall, I'm gonna start rolling away.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, it must not be harmed. Is that clear?
Chase, you don't
Bruh.
understand.
Ah, it doesn't like being poked with a sword.
Don't scare us, Keeler. You're here. You don't scare us. Do you think he believed us?
The human was Keeler.
Oh god, it talks now.
I was a sergeant in the ATS. Manned an ack gun at Folkestone.
Indeed.
Anti-aircraft.
This is Sir Colin Thackeray. I am aware that the Brigadier is in Geneva. I
Again.
must speak to a senior officer. All right, get him down here fast. Thank you.
Bravo.
What a nitwit.
That's the stuff to give them. After all, our taxes pay for these wretched civil servants, and you could never get hold of them when you want them, can you?
You will be careful, won't you?
Why? I have nothing to fear from the crinoid.
Are you sure?
Unlike you, he has principles.
Oh, yeah? Well, you listen to me. Now there's just the two of us. So you've got to rely on me, so don't push your luck, because if you do, I'll start again exactly where I left off. Understood?
You're as mad as Chase, Scorby. Other people don't matter. All these guards, all these guns, it's just a big game to you, isn't it? Gives you a sense of power. You're not complete unless you've got a gun in your hand.
The Doctor and Sarah have both taken a physical beating in this episode.
Well,
Doctor's thrown into trash can. She gets punched twice, like right there.
You know me. I want to help you.
man, it's no parking.
Come now, Doctor. Are you choosing your words with care?
Somehow the crinoid can channel its powers via the plants. All the vegetation on this planet is about to turn hostile.
You mean like aggressive rhubarb?
Yes, aggressive rhubarb.
32-year-old woman strangled in a garden maze.
This bit.
And all within a mile of Chase's estate.
Oh no. It's the alternate ending to Little Shop of Horrors.
Shall we get started, gentlemen?
Actually, that's the original ending when the plant takes over the Earth.
Oh yeah.
Scorby! All the guards have left. I think they made a run for it.
Typical. Just like a bunch of women.
And I heard screams from the West Garden, but I didn't go out.
Let's take a look.
Look, we'd better stay put.
He just said he heard a scream. Obviously someone is in trouble.
Well, what can we do with that thing roaming about out there?
What was that you just said about women?
No.
I obtained some fascinating photographs.
Showed him.
You hate us, don't you?
Of course. Animals are the enemy.
You want to see us all die.
It is only a matter of time.
Actually, plants and animals are symbiotic.
No.
We breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. They breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. If we all die, they all die.
No. Probably should have figured that out in the last couple million years.
Don't resist us, Scorby. You must die. All plant eaters must die.
I hope they brought the chainsaws.
Or at that time, the Agent Orange. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Herbicide.
What is this stuff? Latest military defoliant. Still on the secret list. Pretty we've used it.
And would be something very similar to Agent Orange.
Alrighty. That's part 5.
Well, a lot of action in these last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Remember how we said the first episode started off really good, and then 2 and 3 kind of were dragging? Well, these have picked it back up again.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's very typical for a 6-parter to do. So.
A lot of times, though, it'll slow down in the 4th and 5th and pick back up in the 6th. But this one was, again, after watching the 2nd and 3rd, I would have been hard-pressed to be really wanting to see the 4th.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, at the very least, the Doctor and Sarah Jane aren't being caught all the time now. Yeah. So
we, of course, would have expected the cliffhanger to be Sarah wrapped up in the plants.
Yeah. Well, luckily they've got the spray to get rid of that. So, and they've also got not Benton to help out.
And Henderson? Was it Major Henderson?
Something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure at time of making this they were thinking, well, I'm sure we can get Benton and the Brigadier back for a couple, but we're sitting here knowing they're not coming back. Yeah. So,
didn't someone say that because their contracts weren't renewed, like Lethbridge Stewart went off and was doing a stage play or something at this point?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know when the Brigadier comes back, because I know he meets the 5th Doctor, but I also remember he was in the 5 Doctors, so that could have just been it. So I don't know if he ever comes back as a major, even just for one story, a major character. So I always have to now give the excuse that he's in Geneva. So.
Come on, John.
Oh my gosh, unit has a useful weapon.
Well, their green screen is infinitely better.
Yeah.
Drat. An unlocked door.
No. Square in the chest. Does it have a chest?
Ew.
Aw, this poor guy.
Where's dead as mutton? You realise?
Dead as a doornail.
R.I.P.
Oh no.
Oh!
Eek.
You just drown a man on a children's television show.
Yeah, man, the 70s were hardcore. Jeez! That looks pretty good, I gotta say.
Well, how can we stop it?
Oh my gosh.
But that'll mean destroying the house too. What about you and the others?
Never mind us. Order that attack. It's your only chance. Out.
You gotta have the RAF. Finally! They're gonna do something. Ah, yes, the most heroic music.
I don't think the blades would be that clean.
Yeah. I don't think this room would be that clean. If you start doing that, I feel like it's gonna start gushing.
Usually when you turn it off, the door goes down.
Yeah. I'll throw him in instead. I hope this scarf doesn't get caught. Yeah. Should, like, do an edit of just as he explodes. Oh, jeez.
Ooh. There should be salad everywhere.
Yeah. Yay, the RAF did something.
Well, Doctor.
You forgot to cancel the coordinate program, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, shall we try again?
Yes, just a minute.
What?
Have we been here before?
Or
Are we
yet to come?
All right. That's a way to end the episode. Alrighty.
By the way, just a weird little thing. I don't know if you remember this. A couple of years back, we went to a local restaurant here. And on the menu, there was something called a grilled salad. And your mother ordered it thinking it was going to be like grilled chicken on a salad. When they brought it out to her, they had actually taken large chunks of a head of lettuce, brushed them with olive oil, and actually grilled the lettuce. It was grilled vegetable, then with chicken on top of that. She said it was one of the weirdest things she had ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
An actual grilled salad.
Oh, yeah. Very similar to what happened to the crinoid.
Yes.
Just without the chicken. All they needed is a little bit of chicken from KFC or Los Pollos Hermanos or something. It would have all worked out perfectly. So,
well, in the 70s, KFC was getting big here in the United States. I don't know how big it would have been in Great Britain back then.
I know that KFC is huge in Japan on Christmas. Like, that is... Like, you have to order, like, 3 months in advance if you want the Christmas dinner at KFC in Japan.
Well, and I know they made fun of this in A Christmas Story, the movie, but there are so many Jewish people who do not celebrate Christmas because it's, not part of the religion, that the tradition for them has become to eat Chinese food on Christmas.
Yeah.
Because they don't eat, turkey and ham and all the other traditional Christmas meals.
Well,
rah, 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 rah.
Well, that's just the interesting thing, because it's like, Christmas is not part of their religion. Is it a part of any religion? Really?
Theoretically, no. It's not part of Christianity. There's no explicit mention in the Bible of the day that Jesus was born. It was a later construct, but as you probably remember, one of the things that happened here in the British colonies in North America is that the Puritans actually banned the celebration of Christmas. And I think they did for a while in Great Britain as well. But they basically, what the Puritans were saying is, look, this isn't in the Bible, and all you people who are celebrating Christmas are blaspheming. And, I don't know if they actually locked people up or, tried them for witchcraft or something like that. But that was one of the reasons why the United States ultimately, in its Constitution, and I know people will say it's not in the actual Constitution, but the First Amendment says there will be no establishment of a religion nor interference with anybody's practice of their own religion.
And people say there's a war on Christmas now.
Well, they're not very intelligent people who say that.
We're already way too off topic. So,
besides Christmas and, grilled salads, let's get back to the crinoids.
The crinoid exploding.
And their model work, again, in addition to all the plant tentacles coming in to the various sets, the explosion of both the plant monster and the model of the manor house was very good.
Yeah, really good. Probably some of the best explosions we've seen. So
the last 2 or 3 where we've seen something big blow up like that, like the house where the Pyramid of Mars was. Not the actual pyramid itself, but the one where they blew up the house. Those are all getting much, much better.
Yeah, so let's see. Well, it was Keeler that was taken over by the Crinoid. Poor chap, I guess. He definitely seems like the worst off in all of this because he didn't want to do any of this. He didn't want to hold people at gunpoint in Antarctica to get this thing, and he did. He was understanding the dangers of the Crinoid, but no. And not only was it that he was possessed, like the guy in Antarctica, but also the fact that he was fed specifically.
Yeah.
So,
weird thing about Keeler, the actor who played him, had a kind of very familiar look to him. And I was trying to place him, and then I thought he looks very similar to a British actor in Monty Python named Michael Palin. Now, he didn't sound the same, but he had that same kind of facial structure. I thought, what an interesting thing if they had gotten somebody from Monty Python to do Doctor Who. I mean, other than, I think John Cleese did something at some point, but I don't know for sure.
Well, yeah, so... and I guess, too, probably the other reason why the Crinoid was thriving in the UK is it was probably warmer.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it was ridiculously cold in Antarctica, so...
And I'm not going to say the obvious that it's not much warmer than Antarctica in Great Britain, but it is.
Yeah, so...
when they only get up to 80 degrees, when that's their high back in the 1960s, it's really... There are times in Antarctica where it does get actually above freezing down there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's got to be so nice, because just like recently, within the past couple days, the highs have been in the 80s, and I've gone outside and I'm like, oh, this is like nice and like livable, and I was like, oh, this is so great. Like, my mood is better than the past 2 months where it's been 100 degrees every single day. So
yeah, this is, I think, now don't quote me on this, I think it's almost our third hottest summer ever since we started collecting records here in Oklahoma in 1889.
Yeah, so it's been ridiculously hot. So I would greatly appreciate, I was going to say we sort of joke about the UK a lot. Most of that is on me. Yes, mainly because it annoys you guys. And it's just funny to do that. But that is one thing I will give you credit for is, I mean, even though right now it's considerably hot in the UK and Europe, but still, it's better than here. You haven't reached 100 degrees, so I gotta give you that at least. So, but yeah, so Keeler was able to thrive more than Winlet in Antarctica. And at the very least, this still was a good story. I do kind of wish, again, it was still based in Antarctica, because that was just such an interesting set piece. Yeah. But it worked, and seeing the large Crinoid, attacking the house and everything, and then having it just blown to Kingdom Come was a really good visual. So it all works out.
Now, I wonder, we twice saw plates of food being brought in, but again, you wouldn't normally feed animal food, animal-based food to a plant. So I was kind of surprised that it didn't look like, some kind of vegetable nutrients, things that plants would, derive their power from.
Yeah.
And it would have been also cool to literally watch them try to drop food into Keeler's mouth and watch him chew it and then just start to grow noodle fuzzy tentacles on his face or something.
Yeah. Let's see. We also had Miss Ducat. What was it, right?
Yes.
Miss Ducat coming in, who also had worked in the war, I guess, so that made her qualified to go in and also to get her money. So
now, my aunts and uncles, my youngest uncle did not serve in World War II, but he did serve in later. But both of my father's sisters served in auxiliary forces during World War II. Women's Army Corps, something like that. They were called the WACs, and the Navy version were known as the Waves. So, but yeah, my family has a history of being in the service going all the way back to the American Revolutionary War. We had American Revolutionary War, War of 1812. I don't know that anybody in the family served in the Mexican-American War, but we also served in the Civil War. Don't know about the War of the Spanish-American War, but World War I, World War II, and Vietnam. So we have a huge military background in the Lemin family.
And look at where we are now. Look at the two of us, a theater director and a YouTuber, carrying on the Army legacy.
I may have explained this before. I would have been eligible to be drafted during the Vietnam War. My first year of college, I had a deferment because I was a college student. I let my deferment expire. I went into the draft lottery, and very fortunately, my lottery number did not come up that year. And once you do that, once you allow yourself to be eligible for 1A status, then they wouldn't draft you after that. So I never felt after the Vietnam War that there was a need for me to sign up, so I never did.
Yeah, so because even though we just joked about that, neither of us have wanted to join the Army. So
no, I mean, seriously, what kind of talents do we have?
Yeah, exactly. So I sit and yell at anime and TV shows all day. So so yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how much we could be useful in Vietnam and I guess Afghanistan or wherever.
Afghanistan and Iraq.
Yeah, so
both Gulf Wars.
Yeah, but anyway, someone who was useful in a war was Miss Ducat, bringing it back around. So that was interesting. Again, I was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe she's like secretly from UNIT or something. Like she'll just beat up Scorby or something. But still, it worked out, and she was working with Sir Colin Thackeray, which is probably like on the scale of like 2 British names. Like that's about an 8 or a 9, I think. So,
yes, it's very rare that you find someone outside of the UK named Colin.
Yeah,
that's a very we had the Secretary of State, Colin Powell, but he pronounced it Colin, like COLON, but he was COLIN, Colin Powell. So,
well, and we also had Mr. Dunbar, who unfortunately died. They didn't really go too much into like what his whole deal was. Like, I guess he just backed Chase in something. I'm not sure what, because it seemed like there was some sort of like political thing he was doing.
Well, he was trying to enhance his own career.
Yeah.
But then when he realized it was getting out of hand, he tried to stop, and that's when the plant ate him.
Yeah. But I don't know how, like, advancing your own career with the mad botanist. I don't know. So, oh well. And then, let's see, we also had the compost, which was used to claim at least 2 lives. So, the first, poor Henderson, ended up being killed. But then Chase ended up getting crushed too as well. So, it's interesting, and I know it's a TV show for children in the 70s in the UK, but I do expect the gore and everything, and I don't know, maybe I'm not really watching too many gory shows right now, so I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know. But you just expect it, at least. So.
Well, I mean, it is grim enough to think that somebody is being crushed like that.
Yeah.
Without the gore. So, I mean, it kind of astounds me that was allowed, that the censors allowed that, because even so, you have 2 men who are literally being crushed to death because they weren't dead when they were put in.
Yeah.
They were still alive when they both went through it.
Yeah. Now, was that both in this episode?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe, I'm wondering if, because it's both in this episode, maybe they did get in trouble, like, after it aired. So, because if it was in 2 separate episodes, then they might have gotten in trouble and they may have had to scramble to do something for the next one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it was both in this last one here. Let's see, we also had Scorby eventually switching sides when he realized that Chase was insane. And I did like his interactions with Sarah Jane. I thought that was really good, and the whole thing of like, oh, you just crave this power and everything, and you only feel complete with a gun in your hand, and him just having like no comeback to that. So,
and again, a rather grisly death for him.
Yeah.
All right, so we had who was the guy that was the other than Keeler? Who was the guy, the first victim of the plant?
Winlet.
No, I mean in this.
Oh, in this one, Dunbar.
Dunbar. So Dunbar is killed.
Yeah.
Henderson is killed.
Yes.
Chase is killed. And Scorby.
And the butler.
The butler.
Hargreaves.
So 5 people.
He gets strangled by the...
Plus all the incidental people, the gardener and everything, all the people within a mile of Chase's manor.
Yeah.
So,
and they saw one of them, too, who got strangled.
So there's a huge body count in this episode.
Yeah, and sometimes that does happen, like... what was it, Planet of Evil, where I was like, boy, there's a lot of people dying. Like, I at the end, I was like, oh, geez, is there, like, anybody left on this ship? And there were still a couple people with, like, the main good guy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's quite the body count in this one. So... And honestly, just more gruesome, because even in that, it's like, oh, they were hit by the evil antimatter, anti-man guy, and it's like, oh, okay, whatever, science fiction. Here, it's like, no, they were strangled or drowned or crushed. It's like, it's just, it's terrible. So yeah, let's see.
And again, it's not that we're complaining about that. It's just, it seems a huge departure from what they've done before.
Yeah, definitely. It almost makes me wonder, like, if they're going more towards, like, not exactly the younger kids anymore, because it's like, well, we're 13 years in. Like, maybe they're thinking, well, even if, there are people who have grown up and they're not watching Doctor Who anymore, a good number of the viewers probably have grown up watching Doctor Who, so maybe now we can do more serious things.
Yeah.
That's actually, on the latest season of Stranger Things, they've gone really dark and gruesome, and apparently the creators, they wanted to do that from the beginning, but they were like, well, our show stars young children. We probably can't get away with that. Like, this is a little too dark, a little too creepy, so they changed it, and even though they had a, Demogorgon monster eating people and stuff, but now they're like, okay, the kids are old enough, let's just go insanely dark and creepy. And they did, and it's actually been a really interesting season because of it. So maybe that's what they're kind of thinking with this. Like, well, the kids have grown up, we can do something a little bit, darker. So we'll just throw someone into a composter. So, let's see. And then we had Unit, the other unit. No Benton, no Harry, no Brigadier. Very unfortunate. I miss Mike Yates, honestly. Like, these guys aren't as good. They did call in the RAF, which was at least something, but oh well. And Chase got possessed. I'm wondering, like, where was that going? Like, I guess, was the Krynoid just going to use him to, like, as just someone on the inside to stop the Doctor? Or, I don't know, like, what was the Krynoid's plan for him once all this was done?
And two things about that. First of all, it would have... You want to talk about something creepy. That when Chase came back after being possessed, if there had just been, like coming out from under his sleeve, just a little finger or something, so a little fringe of the little fingers, so that we would know that there was something physically actually taking possession of him.
Yeah.
The other thing, and it, again, didn't bother me, but I was looking for it. After the scene where it talked to the Doctor, it never talked again.
Yeah, that's true.
And you would think in that whole last scene where it's literally trying to crush the house to get into them, it's like, talk about creepy. Just the voice coming out going, Doctor.
Yeah.
Give yourself up.
Yeah, because that was interesting, it forming intelligence and recognizing the Doctor as a threat. So, yeah, I guess that really just served the purpose of, a bit of conflict with Scorby. But yeah, other than that, it didn't talk again, which was strange. So yeah, but we had everything with the giant crushing the house and everything, and again, just very good effects and everything. So, and And then after Chase was horrifically killed and crushed to death, then the saving grace, the RAF. They're here. They did something.
3 cheers for the Royal Air Force.
So that was good because I mean that's been our sort of running joke for a while, is that the RAF never does anything. Again, through no fault of their own. It never works out that way. But finally, it worked. Just bomb it, and it will be good. Which, I mean, to be fair, they also set that up earlier because it was the bomb in Antarctica that killed the original Krynoid. So it makes sense that just launch a couple of those missiles and it'll work out. So, and then at the end, they're back in Antarctica before, I guess, perhaps before they originally got there. I don't know. That's weird. It's also weird that it's like, well, the TARDIS was programmed to go to Antarctica, but they didn't take the TARDIS there originally. So why did he have it programmed for Antarctica if he wasn't going to take the TARDIS there? So that seems kind of odd. Oh well. Next up, starting out in season 14. Let me just really quickly. Season 14 starts off with the
Mask of Mandragora.
Yes.
Or Mandragora, depending on how you pronounce it.
Right. It starts with that. So
now, just from what I know from theater, there are several plays. I think there's one actually called Mandragola, but there's also a variation of that, I think, called the Mandrake. In the Middle Ages, a mandrake was a plant that when you pulled it up out of the ground supposedly screamed because its root system resembled a human being. And there were things that you could do with the mandrake root that were evil witchcraft things. I have no idea that that's what this is about. But Mask is another thing. That's a dance from the Middle Ages. The Mask of the Red Death from Edgar Allan Poe. It was about the one of the great plagues. So we shall see what the Mask of Mandragora or Mandragora is all about.
But is that actually going to have anything to do with being in Antarctica again?
No, I would think not.
Yeah, this is just a cliffhanger, but not a cliffhanger. Yeah. So
I suspect, well, first of all, Sarah was in her swimming costume, as they sometimes call them, and she would have been very, very cold in Antarctica. They're going to go back into the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And I imagine he would reset it to take off.
Yeah.
So I doubt they're going to Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
Which is always odd because here in the United States we call it Cassiopeia.
Yeah. So that'll be 4 parts. I'm also going to check real quick. Do we have... Oh, yeah, we do. I was going to check to see if Season 14 had the Talons of Wang Chang, and it does. From what I have heard, the unfortunately very racist episode of Doctor Who. So we'll get to that one when we get to it, and I've heard it's actually a decent story. It's just one of the characters is a horrible Chinese stereotype. So, but we'll get to that one when we get to it. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else?
I got nothing.
All right then. Then with all that being said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of our Doctor Who classic reactions, as well as another playlist for all of my modern Doctor Who reactions if you want to go check those out. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.